Hi folks, so Donald Trump, he's just, depending on which way you see it, back down on his tariffs or giving the world a bit of breathing space. So it depends on your view, I suppose, doesn't it? To me it seems like there's a couple of things happening here. One, obviously there was nationwide protests across the US at the weekend. Even though the media in the US tried to downplay it, there were major cities had millions of people out in the streets protesting against the tariffs and the effect on their pensions, their lives, their companies, etc. So another thing is there's now infighting within the Republican Party with plans for a bipartisan agreement to block tariffs, or the potential of a bipartisan agreement. So there's fractures shown within the GOP. Trump, to his credit, decided he'd do one and play golf for a weekend, which he, on his own course, in his own competition, which he won. And he cheats, allegedly. But that was Trump's answer to the protest. I'll go and play golf for the weekend. Considering you're supposed to be the president of the world's biggest economy, potentially, and you've just launched tariffs on the stock market, had the biggest two-day crash in history. Not the biggest crash, I mean, it hasn't, it's still classed as a correction because it's not a 20% drop. I think back in, we're talking 2020 maybe, 2019, there was a 34% drop. Funnily enough, Donald Trump was president then. So another thing getting flagged up at the moment is there's a Republican senator said he's going to launch investigations into billionaires profiteering off Donald Trump's pause of tariffs. So obviously the markets drop phenomenally down, and the thing that people say is, when people are fearful, be greedy. When people are greedy, be fearful. So these markets have dropped right down, and obviously that's prime buying time. So Warren Buffett, and I'm not saying Warren Buffett had insider information because he liquidized a lot of his stocks months ago. Billions of pounds ready because he foresaw what was going to happen. He knows Trump of old. He knows what Trump will do. There's going to be uncertainty. He pulled his money out. Uncertainty. He's now in a position to cash in. However, the question is, how many of Donald Trump's billionaire friends, or if any, knew about this pause before time? Okay? How many knew about the pause in tariffs before time? Or how many knew ahead of time before he put the tariffs in and sold the stock off? How many of Donald Trump's billionaire friends are now cashing in, buying stock back up with this 90-day pause on the extended tariffs of it? I'll have to check, but I believe the base 10% tariff is still in place. Obviously, China's the exception. He's got a thing. He hates China, so he keeps adding tariffs to them. They keep adding tariffs back to him. So the question you've got to ask yourself: I don't think Trump's intelligent enough to do this himself. To be people behind the scenes pulling his strings. Was this a calculated move to crash the markets so his billionaire friends could cash in? Or is he just stupid? I think it was a calculated decision, but not by Donald Trump, by the people who are pulling his strings. He's surrounded himself with his billionaire friends. Do this, Donald. Blah, blah, blah. This is good. Do this. And he'll do it. That's why they put him there. He'll do crazy shit things. So for me, it looks potentially like it's been a calculated move. So I don't think Trump's anywhere near intelligent to do this himself. I think when you listen to him rambling incoherently on TV, he's a distraction. While the real people are making a fortune out of it. I think it's Russians' answer to an oligarchy. Because at the moment in Russia, you've got an oligarchy with Putin and his cronies who made their money after the fall of the Soviet Union. Putin, through minerals. What's Ukraine rich in? Minerals. What does Donald Trump allegedly want out of Ukraine minerals. Allegedly there's connections with Putin from the past with Donald Trump as well. So that's another thing to wonder about. I don't know. I haven't read into that a lot. So for me, it's a stock market crash. What should the UK do now? Should we capitulate to Trump and say, tell you what, Donald, what do you want? Or should we say, tell you what, Donald, this is what we'll give you? Otherwise, we're going to, have trade agreements with other countries that are more favourable. Should we be looking at going to cozying up to China and trading with China? Developing more of a trade with China? Seeing as Trump's penalising them, should we then sort of go over to China and go, hey China, let's come and invest with us? We won't put tariffs like Trump has on you. These are options, aren't they? I think the world has to stay strong. I think, yes, it's a distraction, but also there's a massive amount of money being lost, and there will be effects on the consumer. And this is the thing, isn't it? Who does it affect the most? It's the consumer. There was a program on TV, and I can't remember which channel it was on, and it was an American motor retailer, parts retailer for cars going. He said, at the moment, these brakes come from X country, they cost $46. He said, with the tariff, you're looking now at $80. He said, I can't take that cost, so I've got to pass it on to the consumer. Because he'd go out of business if he took the cost on, because for him it's compounded, because it's not just one part, it's loads of parts, so the cost is then passed on to the consumer. So the consumer suffers. I mean, there's companies in America, my business is now finished, it's wiped out. There's people in America with pensions. I think there's people in mostly this country, and with people with pensions investing in the stock market, and they've tanked. And they're not going to recover overnight. They're going to take 6 months, 6 years, 60 years, who knows how long to recover to where they were. So these people will have to work longer, okay? So they might have planned to retire tomorrow, and all of a sudden those plans are gone because the way that what's happened with the markets, the futures. So we live in interesting times, as you say. I personally feel we should be looking away from the US. Let's distance ourselves. While Trump's in charge, there's no consistency, no certainty, no rhyme or reason, to be honest with you, to the decisions he makes. He could potentially turn around tomorrow and go, tell you what, I'm unpausing it. You can't predict what he's going to do or what the people around him are going to say to tell him to do. So ask yourself these questions. Was this premeditated by the people around Trump so they could cash in and make a fortune when the markets dropped and buy? Should we, as a country, UK, turn around and go, F you, Donald, we're going to look elsewhere for our trade partners? That's my personal favourite, to be honest with you. I think we should be strengthening back ties with Europe. They're our closest ally. Canada, China, whatever. If Trump's put extra tariffs on China, let's go and see what they've got to offer us. Let's see if we can make a deal. These times can make strange bedfellows. People saying invest in China, bad human rights record. They're still a major player in the world economy. They have sway over the Southeast Asian markets. They're still investing heavily in the Southeast Asian markets, even though their own economy is supposedly quite fragile. But you're still seeing a lot of money invested in, likes of Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, etc. The Chinese they're paying for a major railway road. Whether it's still on, I'm not sure. This was planned before they had a problem. They want to put a major railroad from China all the way through South Asian countries through to the coast of Burma above there. Big times ahead, and that will cut the amount of time needed to send goods across countries. Should we be looking there? Yeah, possibly. I think we've got to look outside our usual spectrum of trade partners and look to broaden it. people who are affected by Trump potentially now are our allies. Better trading options. I wouldn't use the word allies, but they present better trading options, and should we be looking at? I think so, yeah. So we know there's no certainty in the US now. It could change at any second. He could have a bad game of golf and say, stop it, I'm going to unpause these tariffs. He could be ousted from power. You know, they might turn around and say, we've had enough of Trump, and then things might go back to some sort of normality. Wait and see. Interested to hear your thoughts on it. You know, is Trump a genius? Most probably not. Are the people around him very clever? Yeah. And that's the people in the background. You've got to ask yourselves how much money they're making out of this. I can't see the American people standing for this much longer. They're pissed off. You talk to an average American, they didn't vote. If they're Republican, they certainly didn't vote for this. The loss of the pensions, etc. I mean, someone said, "Oh, their pension schemes are a big Ponzi scheme." Yeah, they're knackered anyway. Whether they were a Ponzi scheme or not, that was their pension. That doesn't come into this, and it's been destroyed. So whether they were going to get best value out of that pension doesn't matter. Whether the Ponzi scheme doesn't really matter. It's been destroyed by Trump's tariffs and the global reaction to it. So what should the world do now? Should we just isolate America and look elsewhere for our trade partners? So ask yourself those questions. I'd be interested to see what you think in the comments below, where we should do, what we should do, whether he's a genius, whether the people around him are scheming and making a fortune out of it, what we should do as UK in the future. So have a think about it and let me know your thoughts.